for our annual Officers Council meeting. It's wonderful, as I said, to see so many familiar faces and friends. So thank you so much for being a part of today. I'm Morgan Hutter. I'm with the Boehly Center. I've been here about 3 years now. So I hope I've gotten the chance to at least speak with or email with most of you or join you in a prior Officers Council meeting. We have some other introductions we'll get to today. Before we get started, just some general housekeeping items. You all came in mute, but if for some reason you get off mute, please try to, for now, remain muted just so we can try to get through the day and then the plan. We are going to have you all be a part of some breakout rooms later in the afternoon, as you might have seen on the agenda. Danita's putting in the chat, who will introduce in a second on our team, to please rename yourself so we can see who you are. And also you can see each other. And if you're willing to put your class year in there, that's always fun. Just you might see some old classmates or friends that you kind of forgot about, or especially with COVID, you haven't been able to see in a while. So thank you again so much for being here. This is being recorded, just so you're aware. We'll be happy to share it afterwards if that's something of interest with you too. But we'll kind of get started from here. So welcome. Welcome. So glad you're here. As I've said numerous times, you can tell how excited we are just to get this group of people together. It's one of my favorite meetings of the year. We always look forward to seeing our Officers Council members. I know we reach out to many of you throughout the year for help, but it's just this wealth of knowledge right now on this call is incredible. It's also always fun because we get to welcome our newest members of our Officers Council. So this year, we bring 13 new members to this group. So I wanted, while we're still all on a big screen, if you are a new member of the Officers Council, can you just wave so everybody can kind of see who you are before we start our PowerPoint? So welcome. This is a great group of alumni that you're now a part of, and that I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know just from past experiences that everybody on this call is willing to help you in any way that they can. So welcome. With that, I'm going to ask Desire to start our PowerPoint, and we'll kind of go through the plan for today. Other introductions that are here, I want to take a chance to welcome our members of our current and past advisory council for the Boehly Center. I know I see Rita Murphy on the call. We also have a chance to welcome Professor Julie Agnew, Professor John Strong, Jim Haltner, Catherine Guthrie, Laura Darty, Howard Busby. Not on our advisory council, but I see is here is Professor Hugh Marvel as well. Welcome, Hugh. Glad you're here. While this is our second year conducting this meeting virtually, it's incredibly important that we have alumni like each of you helping us. Not only helping us as the Boehly Center staff, but you're always willing to help our students. So thank you so much. It matters. And it's a big chance for us to understand what is going on in that industry, especially as of late. So thank you. I want to take a moment. I mentioned a few introductions. We have 3 new staff members since our last council meeting. So we'll welcome Julie Palmer. Started the year joining the advancement team as the new senior director for undergraduate and one-year master's programs. This position is most closely aligned with Chantel Smith. Many of you knew Chantel, so welcome, Julie. We're thrilled you're here. In addition, the advancement team is excited to welcome Anthony Ball. Anthony is the new director of development at the same team as Julie and Alice Young, who I know we introduced last year and many of you got to know with the women's stock pitch. But Anthony most recently has been working on the regional team, central advancement team at William & Mary, and he has his MBA from Marquette and has his career in development. So we're really excited that he'll be working with finance alumni like each of you and helping be the main fundraiser for the Boehly Center. So welcome, Anthony. Danita Trice, really excited to introduce Danita. Danita joined the center in February 2021 as our new Associate Director for Academic Engagement. She most recently replaced Melanie Wiest, who had replaced Rita Murphy. So just so you kind of have the trend of who's who. Danita has been a huge asset. We're so blessed to have her. And she is here, as you all know, will help with academic advising and the career exploration process for our students. Desire Morris, who's running the PowerPoint. Desire, welcome. Joined the center in May. She's our new administrative project coordinator. She replaced Megan Branch, who we always knew was going to leave us after 3 years because her fiance graduated from William & Mary Law School. So we welcome Desire. Desire comes to us from Virginia Tech. We'll forgive her for that. But we're thrilled that we're going to transition her to green and gold instead of that other color that is out there. But Julie, Danita, and Desire, and once Anthony's here, has all made an immediate impact on William & Mary, the Mason School, and the Boehly Center. We're so lucky to have them here, and I'm really looking forward to all of you getting to know them. So thank you and welcome. We're going to transition now to a few highlights from the past year. When we met a year ago, we were a few months into COVID. It's exciting that now maybe we're a few months, quote unquote, out of COVID. So we cannot thank you enough for helping us last year determine the best ways that we could continue to support our students during this pandemic. We really took what you all shared to heart and really worked hard to implement your suggestions. I wanted to take a minute to just summarize at a very high level what those efforts were and what this special team has been able to accomplish. We started COVID with the Mason Summer Business Institute. I know we had pitched that last year, but I wanted to kind of go over some highlights from it. This was a 4-week online Zoom program that we conducted last July, where undergraduate students received access to training, platforms, unique special topics courses, and professional development preparation. Students had the opportunity to connect with many of you, industry professionals in accounting, business analytics, consulting, finance, and marketing. The concept actually came from prior executive director and Professor Carl Tack, and it grew in vision with the help of Professor Catherine Guthrie and the Boehly Center's team to create and execute this program with only 6 weeks of preparation. In the end, we had 65 students complete 40 sessions led by 23 Mason faculty, 25 executive partners, and 52 William & Mary alumni, many of which are on this call. What's really fun is we had a lot of survey results after that from those students and all that participated. Over 90% of students that participated felt more confident in their interview skills, ability to express oral written skills, ability to demonstrate professionalism, and believed that they added value to their William & Mary experience. Over 85% of those students believed this program provided tactical and practical skill sets, which is exactly what we were trying to obtain. The top 3 skills acquired were networking skills, interview skills, and the confidence in building your personal brand. So thank you to all of you who helped us make that happen. The slide you're seeing next is that after MSBI, we wanted to continue this train, and we partnered with our wonderful partners at EY to conduct a professional development mini-series. That series was about adjusting to the new normal of this virtual world and virtual work. We ended up offering 3 independent sessions. You'll see the first one in October was about remote working. So tips to, how to adjust to this new normal. We did a whole session on time management. You all remember this when you graduated, but we hear it all the time from our students that go from being seniors to alumni. Oh my goodness, I had no idea how many emails I was about to get. So we really wanted to help them understand, especially now in this virtual world, how to make that transition from student to professional. And lastly, we talked about expanding your network. So how do you still build that network when you're no longer meeting, at the water fountain in between an event program? So thank you so much to our partners on this call and to EY for making that program possible. The next thing we did is, per your advice, we did a push to help the class of 2020. That class probably got hit the hardest. Their whole life kind of got flipped upside down, and we ended up, with your advice, expanding deadlines. We sent personalized and targeted emails to every graduating senior and offered additional resources and support to make sure that they knew they weren't alone. In an effort to educate students on the shifting hiring timelines, we partnered once again with our great partners at the Cohen Career Center, and we tracked down athletes and international students to make sure that they were taken care of. We added signature lines in our email signatures to make sure we rose awareness that those timelines might be shifting for hiring. We also created a best practice guide that many of you had helped us with. This is basically to serve as a way for students to know tips and tricks if they find themselves in a variety of career readiness scenarios. So we talk about preparing for the first time you make an alumni contact, right? Many of you have been on the side of receiving those contacts. how to start your first job, or creating stronger emails, or how to strengthen your LinkedIn. We spend a lot of time about declining, accepting, or deciding between job offers. So the best practice guide is available on our website. You're welcome to check it out. If there's new sections that we should add, again, we welcome your feedback. When we had met in person as an Officers Council in 2019, we actually spent a lot of that time talking about the skill sets that our students could continue to enhance. Something that was very apparent was the technical skills of our students. So over the last year, we have done a lot of research, and we're proud to say that we implemented a new training platform like Training the Street. It's a weekend program, and we added training for our students on Python, data science, and SQL. So we're very proud and excited that we can now offer that to all of our interested students, and that's all thanks to you. So thank you for that terrific feedback. We also Danita on our team did an incredible job of coming right in and helping to restructure our flagship programs. Actually, Alasan, who's on the call, is a recent Officers Council member and was one of our past fellows and helped restructure our financial literacy program. Thank you. We also did our peer mentorship program and our mentor match program. And then we launched our brand new incentive program that you're going to hear about and maybe you've seen information on. So we're really excited. The other big focus of this year, believe it or not, there's more. The other big focus of this year was on our marketing outreach. So you might have noticed that we have a brand new website. Thank you so much in collaboration to our marketing team here at Mason. But we feature academics, programs. We have many of you featured on our Alumni Pathways page. We do career exploration and career readiness resources. We updated all of our collateral and external pieces as well. So we're ready once we're back in person and we can come travel again. We formalized our social media outreach. You might all now be receiving our every other week LinkedIn notifications as well. If you don't follow our LinkedIn, please let us know. We're happy to make sure you see that, or it's in our monthly newsletter. And then we're in the process. The biggest goal was to minimize stress for students, especially the students that were adjusting to this new normal. So we created a weekly email that pulls from our partners at Cohen. We just did the work for them. So we pull all of the information sessions from companies, all the internships, all the jobs, anything that's directly happening for students to know about, and pull them right out of Tribe Careers. And now it's just in one email that students get every Thursday. And we'll actually offer that Tuesdays and Thursdays once recruiting picks back up in the fall. So, and then knowing that students and alumni weren't going to be in the building, we didn't want to lose that connection. So we hope you've all heard it, but we did launch a brand new podcast. So we have a Careers in Finance podcast series that features areas on the financial services industry, career paths. We talk about practical insights, and we bring alumni back to be a part of that. So if you haven't heard that, check out our website under our news section, and you'll be able to hear. We have 12 episodes so far, and 2 in the pipeline, and 3 more getting recorded in the next month. So they're coming. But in the interest of time, we also encourage you to check out this new website. There's a great video you'll see here of Meghana, one of our students and prior presidents of our Smart Women Securities. But there's a lot of videos on there. There's a lot of new tools and tricks. So please feel free to check that out. And we always welcome your feedback. I'm going to turn it now to our rock star colleague, Danita Trice. I'm so excited you're going to get a chance to get to know her a little bit. I'm sorry it's not in person, but Danita started in February, as I had mentioned, and has made an immediate impact and has been instrumental to the center and to our students. She comes to us as a prior recruiter from KPMG, spent time at Cherry Beckert, and was most recently an internship administrator at Southern New Hampshire University. So please help me in welcoming Danita.
I think you're muted, Danita.
So sorry about that. Well, again, thank you so much, Morgan, for that kind introduction. And I am so excited to be a member of the Boehly Center team. And I'm grateful to have transitioned with Melanie prior to her departure. I know I've had the chance to speak with some of you since I started as we were planning for Women's Stock Pitch, and we're just now starting to launch planning for Dog to Wall now. So stay tuned for additional details on that. New this year, with support from Mason's IT department, we created a Boehly Center app for our new annual incentive program. The purpose of the program is to, one, ensure student engagement in all program and service offerings. Two, to implement a culture of professionalism, respect, accountability, and inclusion. Three, to have historical data on program participation, engagement, and ability to evaluate specific program and event success. And finally, fourth, to see which students are not as involved and may need more support from Boehly Center staff. Students receive points for participating in a variety of programs and bonus points when they reach a new level. In order to participate, students sign a memorandum of understanding that they will be leaders in our community and follow the 4 key values of the program, which are respect, professionalism, community, and accountability. Our goal for this first trial semester was to have 50 students. We were so fortunate that we ended up having 78 participate, 10 of which won an exclusive town hall with Todd Boehly. Other prizes this year included Boehly Center gear, but moving forward, we're also hoping to engage our Officers Council. As you can see, we have had quite the year, and there is more to come. In your calendar invite today, you were provided an infographic showcasing our impact based on data from June 2020 through June 2021. More evidence that the center is growing thanks to your leadership and support. We're committed to supporting the Mason School of Business and its efforts to prepare future generations for careers and lives of principled achievement in finance that positively impact society. We continue to do this by following our 5E framework to evaluate, to elevate, to engage, to educate, to empower, and to, of course, most importantly, employ. The center of our mission is our students. We have incredible alumni like each of you because we have incredible students like the one you are about to hear from. I'm pleased to introduce Diana Tien. Diana is one of our peer mentorship program leaders, a vice president for women in business, and was on the Cornell WIN conference stock pitch team that received or earned second place. She spent a summer at EY and is currently a global market summer analyst at UBS. Diana will graduate in 2022 with a double major in finance and economics with a concentration in business analytics. I am so thrilled to introduce you to Diana. The floor is yours, Diana.
Thank you, Danita. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana, and I am currently doing my internship at UBS Global Markets Division. I am so happy and so excited to be here and meet all of you today. I'm so honored to use just a few minutes and tell you how Boehly Center changed my experience as a student and also a leader in a student organization. So there are 4 points I want to highlight. The first part is Women Business Club. So I am the VP of Women Business Club this year, and all the club members and also the club leaders work very hard this year to organize weekly events in this virtual environment. As you know, it's very challenging, but we are working hard. So in our weekly board meetings, Danita attended and gave us great advice to be better leaders and better serve our community so we can provide better quality speaker series and workshops to other students. Well, while we are helping others, Danita also helped us. She developed a leadership series for all board members. So a board member each week would present for 5 minutes and lead a discussion. Each week, so I think the most memorable topics are servant leadership and setting boundaries, etc. Those mini presentations from my peers really inspire me to think deeply about what makes a good leader and how can I be a better leader. So that's the first part I want to highlight. The second part is I think Boehly changed students' career readiness and possibly changed some students' career starting points. I am one of the program coordinators of the brand new peer mentorship program, which expanded from only finance majors to all 4 business majors, plus a few liberal arts majors. So we pair mentors and mentees based on their career interests. So what they would do in the program is pretty much map up their possible career starting points to practice networking calls, to work on resume, and also do mock interviews. And there's so many more you can imagine. My most touching point this program this semester was hearing a non-business sophomore student receive her internship offer after this. And she worked very closely with her mentor, and she was actually pretty nervous about networking and interview process because she didn't have that exposure in the business school. I, as one of the program coordinators, I imagine myself as the person who built the bridge to connect upperclassmen with younger peers who were in their shoes before. And Danita would be the person to make sure the bridge is efficient and productive. Danita offered a lot of contacts and resources from Boehly Center to help all of us. So that's a great point to mention. So, sorry, excuse me. The third point I want to mention is Boehly really have some programs such as Training the Street to connect some academic knowledge that we learn in lectures to practical knowledge in the actual industry. As a finance student, I've taken a great class last semester. It's called Corporate Valuation and Credit Analysis with Professor Agnew. If you know her, you probably took a class with her sometime. She's a great professor and introduced a lot of in-depth financial concepts to do valuation. She explained that the class is more academic, so she really encouraged us to take Training the Street provided by Boehly because it's not only free, but also a very informative 2-day conference to kind of introduce us financial modeling and valuation training program. This really helps me to connect, to the more practical side of valuation. And personally speaking, that was my aha moment in the semester because finally all the pieces from a more academic part, like the lectures, it finally connect with the more practical side. So I think that's a very valuable program, and I wish Boehly can keep doing this. So that's number 3. Lastly, I want to mention the professional resources from Boehly. I really appreciate the list of internship positions in your weekly emails. I know Morgan probably mentioned that before. And my friends and I found it really helpful because that's a great add-on to Cohen resources because that's more specific to us as finance students. And a small detail that makes it even more helpful is Boehly Center highlights urgent applications in yellow, so it's very easy to notice those and won't miss deadlines. Danita also started offering some virtual office hours for majors and intended majors to explore some resources here at Boehly. And I really wish I had that when I was exploring my freshman year. So that's the 4 perspectives. I really want to mention it to you. And this helped me to be a better student and a better student leader. Just keep this in mind. I'm just one of hundreds of students here at Mason, and I am sure many other students would have additional perspectives in addition to mine of how Boehly have helped them and their career starting points. In the end, I am so fortunate to be here and to have this opportunity present to you how Boehly made and will continue to make positive impacts in my college experiences. And I wish all the alum will have an enjoyable meeting today and a great day. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, Morgan and Danita has my contact information. I'm more than happy to share that with you. Thank you. Thank you, Danita.
Diana, thank you so much. First of all, you just praised us more than we deserve to be praised. So thank you so much for your kind remarks. And it's so refreshing because I know alumni love hearing from students. So thank you for sharing your perspective. Fabulous job with your remarks. And just thank you so much for all that you're doing to make us love what we do. Students like you make our jobs incredible. So thank you so much for being here today. You're welcome to stay on if you'd like to hear the rest. But thank you so much, Diana. With that, I'm going to turn to another fabulous partner that we have at the Boehly Center, our partners at the Cohen Career Center. So I'd like to turn it now to Kathleen Powell and Renard Miles.
Oh, thank you, Morgan. I appreciate it. And updates have been wonderful. This is one of my favorite meetings of the year. And I do too wish that we were in person, but here we sit at our screens, and that's just the way it goes. So in the essence of time, it is my pleasure to introduce Renard Miles. Renard is our Director of Employer Engagement and Programming, and this is an inaugural position in the Cohen Career Center. And Renard is a trooper. He joined us during the pandemic. We had a national search. We used Spellman & Johnson search firm to bring him to the table. And we are grateful that he accepted. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to tag team on the next slide and moving into the subsequent slide after that. So if you would advance, perfect. So Renard, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the connections, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Kathleen, and I'm definitely honored to be here today. I know Morgan and Danita have talked highly of this group, and I was very excited to be able to join you all. So I've seen some familiar faces, so happy to meet you others as well. For the Cohen Career Center connections, similar to what Danita shared, so we were sharing data from June 1st, 2020 to June 23rd, 2021. So really just data from the fall 2020 semester and spring 2021. In terms of those finance students who participated in Cohen events, we had 37 students who participated in career fairs. And I will, share that disclaimer that those events were virtual. And so the numbers may be just a slight bit lower than they are in traditional years when we're in person, but those were virtual fairs. And I think we experienced, as you are probably aware, just students having Zoom fatigue and some other different challenges throughout those semesters. But nevertheless, that's the numbers for career fairs. We also had 81 students participate in workshops. And so those are workshops that the Cohen Career Center would have hosted. So resume building, LinkedIn, networking opportunities, any of those workshops that our team hosted in conjunction with Boehly helping us market. We also had 239 students participate in career advising. And so those are when students maybe come and meet with our dedicated business career industry advisors that we have. And so we do have a staff member in the Cohen Career Center who is dedicated to the business careers. And so while students are able to meet with any advisor we do have one that's specifically for them. And so we had 239 students. And I will say those aren't unique students. And so if a student, wanted to schedule multiple appointments, of course they did. We also had 278 participate in information sessions. And what we all seen, so Boehly in our office, we saw that a lot of organizations were hosting a lot more information sessions than maybe in the past. And just be given the flexibility to host those online and virtually, it increased access for our students. And it also increased those opportunities for them to be able to have opportunities to connect for networking and just to be able to engage with employers in a different way. And then we also had 189 finance students subscribe to our business newsletter. And so during the academic semester, that newsletter went out weekly. And so students were able to get that. And it's very similar to the Boehly's newsletter they sent out, but it includes information that's really helpful for them to get career ready and also job opportunities and any upcoming information sessions or ways in which students can get plugged in within recruiters and organizations. We also had over 100 jobs posted in Tribe Careers that were related to finance students or a job that a finance students would be eligible to apply for. And then we had, last but not least, 34 business newsletters circulated throughout that time frame. So I think Kathleen's going to talk about our next destination survey. So,
yes, I am. So what I also want to share is that our partnership with the Boehly Center and working with Morgan and Danita and now Desire is just fantastic. And this idea of being able to pull information out of Tribe Careers and to spotlight that information for students, making it easier for them and making opportunities discoverable is really the way to go and the right thing to do. And as we talked about the class of 2020, I think about it and there's that pandemic year and we talk about having pandemic brain and what we were doing and how all of that happened. So the class of 2020 fared very well. And what you're seeing on this slide is actually a snapshot of our next destination survey for the class of 2021. And we know that there's 87 conferred degrees, finance major 1. And you can see that we've got 42 responded so far. And this survey actually stays open until December of this year. And then we pull the data together and we put together our BBA career success report. And what I've done for you is I'm going to put in the chat the link to the class of 2019. The class of 2020 is actually at University Web and Design because they do our design work and then they make it available for us to put it on our website. But what I can tell you is that when you look at this information for those who have responded, that the bonuses are up over almost $3,000 over the class of 2019, and the average salaries are almost $6,000 over the class of 2019. And again, just in terms of the class of 2020, I would say that the average salary went up about $2,000 and the average bonus went up about another $2,000 for the class of 2020. And where the partnership comes in is when we're sending out that survey link and the Boehly Center is asking the finance majors, Major 1 and Major 2, to answer that survey so we get this data. And what you're seeing in terms of top employers for the class of 2020, there were 54 unique employers. And then we also list the top employers if we have 2 or more students who are actually subscribe to that employer. So this data is public. It's aggregated. It's on our website. It will be available for you to see. And we're always 1 year behind. We follow the the standards of the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And, it's really nice to see that our finance majors are doing very well. I would say in my time here doing this report, we see finance majors landing at the 98 to 99% knowledge rate in terms of being either employed full-time or going to graduate school. So it is that partnership that we have with Boehly that makes a difference in providing this information. So next slide, please. So the Career Pathways team, I'm trying to remember, Morgan, if we actually talked about this at the meeting last year, and honestly, I can't remember, but let me just give you just a brief overview of the Career Pathways team. So back in April of 2020, President Rowe decided to lift up a team of individuals to actually support the career readiness of our students during the pandemic. She charged me with that lead and I willingly accepted it. And just in terms of the complement, we had more than 80 professionals across William and Mary and 30 different units represented, and Mason School of Business was well represented and served on several different squads. And Morgan served as one of those squad leaders. And, or it's not squad leaders, but served on one of the squads, which Bernard is going to talk about, which is the Employer Pathways team. And I took the liberty and put a couple things on this slide. So one, what you're seeing is the rankings that came out this year, and we're very proud of this in terms of managing through the pandemic. So you will see that we have been ranked #1 for the best public schools for internships. And this is done by students, so that is pretty exciting there. And then number 14 for career services, out of many career services offices across the country for public schools. And then I think first and foremost, we can't do our work without our alumni, and ranked number 16 for our alumni engagement in our networks. And we're going to continue to build on that. I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Professional Development Academy. And this was really a brainchild of the president wanting to lift up opportunities for our students during the pandemic. And we really looked to the Boehly Center and we looked to the Summer Business Institute. And Professor Guthrie was so kind and generous with sharing her information with us in terms of what worked well, where the potholes were, what we needed to think about as we lifted up a professional development academy for the university and actually our recent alumni. So we expanded our program and it was, as you see on the slide, it was 3 days. We had a variety of folks subscribe to it. We called them participants. We didn't call them students. And we had over 57 volunteers lifted up for our 3-day seminar. And the best part about this is that we had 18 executive partners support our students serving as mentors. And it really was a win-win situation. And it was so successful. The president asked us to continue something during the summer. So we have PDA Lite, and we're offering it right now for summer session 1, and it's called Career Ready with Cohen. And summer session 2 will start, and registration is open till July 5th. And I know that Boehly has been very helpful, and the center has been helpful to us pushing out the registration information. And we'll be also offering the Professional Development Academy again in January of 2022. And this is a great way for alumni to get engaged and serve on accountability partners, is what we called our EPs, review resumes, and just do a host of things. So this was a very successful event. And it was so successful based on the knowledge that was shared with us from the Boehly Center. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Renard, and he's going to talk about the employer pathways team. That was another deliverable from the career pathways team.
Thank you, Kathleen. I just want to briefly just give a high-level overview and goal of the employer partnership team. And so, as Kathleen mentioned, Morgan serves on there, and we have a host of other professionals from campus who serve with us as well. But really, the goal of our employer partnership team is to have cross-campus collaboration with other folks who maybe have some type of involvement with employer engagement, so that we can really champion a one William and Mary value proposition. And so we meet monthly to discuss the different initiatives. And so typically we meet, so, these are kind of the engagements that we're seeing with different organizations. And we most recently broke into subgroups. And so we have 5 subgroups, and those groups are challenged with helping us determine what type of communication do we need to have that's unified for our employers. How can we best educate William and Mary faculty so that they know that when organizations reach out to them, this is how they funnel them to the appropriate offices? We've also have a committee that's working on a central landing page so that when an organization wants to recruit a William and Mary student, as opposed to maybe trying to figure out which office to go, if we have this central location that they can actually go to, and then it's broken out on there that shows, this is the Graduate Career Management Center, this is the Law Career Center, or this is the Cohen Career Center. We believe that's going to be extremely helpful, and to really just show that one William and Mary approach. And so we're excited about that. We know that this work will be ongoing, and so we are moving slow and methodical. And so we actually have a meeting this afternoon for those subgroups to really report on the progress that they've had over the last month. And we're excited to see where the work of this group goes. And so I'm one of the co-leads, along with Mike Ryan from the Graduate Career Management Center and Ramona Sain from the Law Career Center. And so we're excited to see the work that's going to be completed from our campus partners and from this initiative.
So I think that really gives you an overview of how we've been connecting and working with our students and our alumni. I will say the Career Pathways team, what we discovered is career is happening across the curriculum. And we have many partners who are supporting our students. And it's not only our faculty and staff, but our alumni as well. And the opportunity to connect with you all and to pull you back into campus to help support the career readiness of our students is really appreciated. So Morgan, thank you for allowing us this opportunity, and I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Kathleen and Renard. Appreciate your remarks always. And thank you for being a part of today. It's wonderful to have the partnership that we do, and I think the students benefit from it. So thank you for that. And Renard, I'm looking forward to my EPT report that we're sharing this afternoon. So, but in the calendar invite that you all received this afternoon, we had shared a couple attachments. Not that you have to go find them now, but afterwards, feel free to take a look at them if you haven't. One of them is a document that we're kind of put together a summary of what we're hoping to kind of proceed with moving forward. As you might recall, last year when we had COVID land on our laps, we were in the midst of year 1 of a 3-year strategic plan, which now we're on year 2 of. Of course, we had to make some adjustments, but I wanted to share what our initiatives are that are in the pipeline and kind of where there's many, but kind of where we see our 4 key drivers being for the upcoming class year. The first is special topics courses. This is going to be something that we will talk about today, but we're working on a succession plan for our current courses. And then obviously we want to create many new courses as the industry is constantly evolving. We partner with our faculty and our alumni, and then the undergraduate program office, formerly known as the BBA office. The other thing is that we want to capitalize on our Mason Summer Business Institute, complement Cohen's fabulous Professional Development Academy, and take it away from kind of just the, not just because it's important, but take it away from the resume cover letter concept of professional development and go into more of the expectations as far as being a professional, and build a boot camp, for lack of a better word, that all incoming Mason School students would have to take, that highlights the 4 key values of our incentive program and expectations for being a Mason student around respect, professionalism, community, and accountability. The third is a video archive. This actually comes from Professor John Strong, an advisory council member as well, to create a video archive. This year, with everything having been recorded, it's going to tip us off very well to set this program up. But we want to create kind of vignettes of quick recordings of videos on industry-specific topics, company highlights and timelines, career readiness topics, points out of the best practice guide. And whether they'll be quick videos that somebody is actually talking, or whether they're those fun, I know you've seen them, like YouTube videos of somebody drawing out something and there's a voiceover on that. Looking ahead, we want to try to bring back our domestic and international treks. We're getting there. And those are great partnership opportunities with the Cohen Career Center. As you know, they run the Wall Street program. We'd like to explore some other areas as well. And then we're really working on data, if you couldn't tell by our infographic, but we really want to create ultimately a dashboard for our data and metrics so we can always tell that Boehly Center story. I'm about to turn it back over to Danita, but before I do, we had asked you prior to this, when you RSVP, there was a number of questions in there about possible future opportunities to engage more alumni, which Danita is going to talk about. We had 67 Officers Council members complete that survey. 21% of you wanted to get more involved with Mentor Match. 17% expressed interest in offering those informational and exploration interviews to students, so kind of just being on call whenever we need those. 15% wanted to be added to our Alumni Profiles website and offered to help with mock interviews. So if you want to get added to that website, just email me and we'll get you the form and we'll get you added. I know many of you are already on there, so thank you. And then 6 to 8% offered to explore being a special topics instructor or a podcast guest, or join what we hope to create as a speakers bureau, or our new program of Take a Student to Lunch in the future. So we greatly appreciate, it's just more evidence of how incredible you all are and how special this group of alumni is to the success of the Boehly Center. So thank you so much for continuing to help us drive our mission and the ability to help more students. At the end of the day, the more students we can help, the happier they're going to be as alumni, and hopefully they'll be in the Officers Council and want to pay it forward. So thank you for continuing to make that a reality. So now that I've teed up Danita and this volunteer slide, I'm going to turn it over to Danita.
Thank you so much, Morgan. So now that Morgan has teed me up, it is my pleasure to encourage you and give you options on how you can potentially get involved. I'll start with the planning of Dog to Wall. We're shifting to a hybrid format for fall. And as we plan for this new structure, we have been in discussions with finance faculty, Mason Advancement, Cohen Career Center, and the Finance Academy Student Club officers. The event will be held in person for students and virtually for alumni on September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd. More details to come. You may be asked to help with that endeavor. Additionally, as you might have noticed during the RSVP for today's meeting, we're exploring interest for the Officers Council and alumni to engage with the Boehly Center in the future. As alumni that are already incredibly engaged with the center and William and Mary, we like your feedback about what are key areas of interest and how we can explore in the future, making opportunities like the ones that I'm about to share readily available to our alumni. We have also included a flyer on today's calendar invitation with more information. I think we are, yep. There, actually go back one for me, please. All right, there we go. So one way that you can assist, or actually go back another one for me. All right, now we're there. All right, so we would like to, all right, sorry, go forward for me, please. All right, I'm just going to talk to you about it. I think we have a slide that's missing. So first and foremost, we'd like you to assist students with career and industry exploration, networking or interview practice through either Brazen, phone, or Zoom. Throughout the year, we may have opportunities to connect with students to learn more about your career path or to conduct practice networking or interviews. We're also developing a speakers bureau that you may be able to join. We would like to create ready to go 15 to 20-minute presentations on leadership or professional development as a prize or thank you for engaged students, such as those that participate in the incentive program. We can either pre-record these or have you pre-record them, or have a stock presentation ready and have you be on call as needed. We're also exploring special topic course instructors. So we need more instructors. This is a key topic for our upcoming breakout room. As we mentioned last year, thanks to our incredible faculty, the finance curriculum has been adjusted. Part of this adjustment is that now all Mason students must complete a special topic or experiential elective course as a part of their curriculum. These are 1 to 3 credit hour courses on an industry of interest or hot topic impacting business. We need your help with what those should be, or the next big things that we should be teaching. Finally, as Morgan mentioned earlier, take a student to lunch. This would be a new program we hope to launch. As you know, each summer, besides this past one, of course, students spread out across the country for their summer internships. It can be intimidating to go to a new city and without a point of contact. A student may miss some of the key things to know, or maybe even the key areas to visit in that city. We're looking for alumni in secondary markets that have a lower alumni, so the network is much smaller, to volunteer to be matched with students coming to their city and connect for coffee or lunch. So they start to network, and hopefully the city, they will ultimately find work. All right, so now as you will see on this slide, there are 3 of our current initiatives that we're currently doing that we welcome your engagement with immediately. If interested, please let us know. These include our current website with alumni profiles. If you haven't given us one yet, letting you know we brought back the alumni pathways on our website. If you're interested in showcasing your path to help our students, just let us know. It's nice for students to see there are many options to achieve success. Also, you can participate in the Mentor Match program. Many of you are already huge supporters and participants in our Mentor Match program. Thank you. I think some of you even participated in the program as a student. As you may recall, last year, we expanded this program outside of Julie Agnew's course. Now, any student can receive a mentor, meaning we need more mentors. We ask for our mentors to review LinkedIn profiles and conduct at least 1 mock interview. On top of that, we hope you'll connect at least twice a semester. It's not a huge time commitment, but it does take time, and we know your time is valuable. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. And finally, Careers in Finance podcast. We need more speakers and also topic suggestions. New this year, we launched a Boehly Center podcast, which is Careers in Finance. We would love to explore hosting you. If you have a topic you'd like to discuss, whether about your industry, career path, leadership experience, or anything of the like, please reach out to us and let us know. We realize this is a lot of information. Following this meeting, we will be distributing a survey and we will put it in the chat as well to gather more information and interest. Now, we would like to break into 4 breakout rooms that Desire will facilitate. So regarding the breakout rooms, the host for today will be Kathleen Powell, Alassane Oaf, who is a prior Boehly Center fellow. I'm so excited to see him today. And he's also new to the Officers Council. Morgan will facilitate, and I will also facilitate. We will have about 20 minutes to discuss one of the topics that are presented on the screen. Please note if you have any additional comments after the breakouts, or you are unable to share your thoughts that are related to a different breakout, please feel free to email us your responses or complete the survey we will be sending out after the meeting, and that I will include in the chat in just a moment. The rooms will be broken into the following topics. I know they're listed there, but I'll just kind of give a high-level overview of what those are. Morgan, she will be leading Where's the Industry Going? So expect to talk about what the hot topics are or the next big thing in finance or business for us to explore for special topics courses. Kathleen, she will be leading the What is the Aftermath of COVID-19 in your particular industry? So plan to give updates on what's happening, what are reentry plans, how do you anticipate, if at all, it impacting hiring in the future. Alassane, he will be leading the session that we're providing concerning 8 ways for officers, council members to continue to engage with the Boehly Center. We want to know what we are missing, what are additional ideas or areas of interest for Officers Council or alumni beyond what I've shared today to engage with students or the Boehly Center. And then I will be leading the Finance Career Roadmap enhancements. We are making our Finance Career Roadmap electronic, which we're so excited about. And we need your help to do that even better. We have the primary outcomes mapped out already using the current Finance Careers Roadmap, but we want to fill in the gaps to offer alternative industry options and areas to the primary results. Therefore, we will be seeking support and offering alternative areas of interest based on results. So again, I will be sharing with you in the chat where you can fill that out, whether or not you join that session or not. So thank you, and we look forward to hearing about your discussion in about 20 minutes. I'll turn it over to Desire from here.
Oh, here they come.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for, we'll just give everybody a second here to come back from your breakout rooms. Thank you so much for being willing to let us get your feedback. As you can see from what we reported back from last year, we really listen to what you say. We really value what you say. You're in the industry. You know what is happening. We want to be able to help our students the most. So thank you for being willing to share that feedback. As Desire shared, and you see in the survey, in the PowerPoint, we have all of these topics. So if you weren't able to be in the room you wanted to be in, don't worry, you can still share your feedback. Just complete that survey. It'll probably take 5 minutes, but we welcome that. Even if you had attended and you didn't want to be in another breakout, we still really like your feedback. So if you don't mind, thank you for sharing that. But each room covered one question, as you all know. So I'm going to ask now for each lead to go through what they talked about. We'll have about 3 minutes to kind of cover each room. So with that, I'm going to start with Kathleen, and her room was talking about the aftermath of COVID-19 in your particular industry. What are the re-entry plans, and how do you anticipate it impacting future hiring? So I'm going to turn it to Kathleen.
Great. Thank you, Morgan. So we had a very hearty discussion about the impact of COVID and what that looked like. And just going to run through my notes. I asked my amazing folks in Zoom if I missed something to chime in. So just talked about in investment banking in terms of during COVID, a quarter of the deals were on hold. And they said that M&A swung back at a record pace, the attempting to hire. So lots of opportunity in terms of hiring, but it's hard to find candidates. And the one participant who shared this information had to jump off at 1 o'clock. So another person had a good question about, well, where is the struggle for the hires in terms of experience level? So we'll have to circle back with that participant to know more. The other thing that we talked about is in the accounting space, thinking about the audits and doing things virtually, and the opportunity to continue some of that work in a virtual world, and that is on the table. Just a consensus that some of the larger banks would like to have, I think the comment was made that Jamie Dimon wants everyone to be back in person and in the office, and trying to navigate what that could look like. Again, the consensus is perhaps not 5 days in the office, less than 5 days, and trying to navigate what that would look like. We also talked about in terms of how folks navigated during the pandemic and what that could be, or what that looked like, and thinking about efficiencies shared in terms of not thinking about cyber issues that could occur, being online, and everything in terms of that remote work worked very well and was very effective. And also talked about the regional variations in terms of the comment about Canada, that they're not fully opened, and some border issues and what that looks like. The goal is to think about what does work look like now past pandemic. And, a lot of folks want hybrid. A comment was shared that there's a really good worker that would like to work remote 100% of the time, but the CEO has been very clear that we need to be back, that they need to be back in person 100%. And then others are talking about a phased approach. That at least 80% would be back in person. And, the hiring is going to continue. No one was furloughed during the pandemic, and lots of opportunity to think about, moving forward, what that will look like. We just talked to your message there in the chat. We talked, Alice, more broadly, just in terms of organizations as opposed to specific industries. And the folks in my room, BDO, Deloitte, JP Morgan, Goldman. I think that covers it.
Great. Thank you.
It's important for students to know that there are financial services firms who will not be in 100%, who will be hybrid.
Hi, Alice.
Great. Thank you so much, Alice and Kathleen. That's fantastic. So we're now going to move over to Alasan, who Danita had provided some ways that we were thinking about alumni being able to engage with us moving forward and continuing. So Alasan, I'm going to turn it to you to share if we had any new ideas as well.
Yeah, appreciate it. So like you mentioned, our main question was thinking about alumni engagement and whether we had feedback for the way that it's currently structured, and some potential ideas to expand on that in the future. And I think the big takeaways from our breakout room, which by the way, had a pretty diverse, I think, array of perspectives, was that in general, it might be better to ask more of our alumni. So we've got some great programs that are running right now. But there are people who are graduates of business and finance at William & Mary who are ready to help out, but don't always get students maybe not knowing that those resources are available. So maybe expanding access to that information and just having more students know that they can reach out and ask people for help who are graduates. I think another thing that came out of our room was that Zoom has a good side to it and a bad side to it, as we've all experienced this past year. It does expand access. And for example, we talked about how we've got a pretty good group of young alumni growing on the West Coast. So we could utilize Zoom there and kind of leverage it to connect with people on the West Coast. But at the same time, it's not a perfect substitute for in-person meetings. And along that same wavelength, there were in-person events that took place in the past that some of our breakout room participants, I think, really valued. and it might be good to try to bring those back in the future. So for example, there was I believe, annual dinner that took place in New York City, where a certain number of students would go up to New York and then have dinner with alumni. And that was just a really great way to connect with people. So if that's something that can come back in the future, or I think our room kind of agreed that would be great. In addition to that, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. But just the big takeaway was that we have a lot of really interested alumni, but if we can figure out a way to get them to be more engaged, and to get students to be more engaged with our very interested alumni, then overall that would bring a lot of value to the kind of arrangement.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. We're now going to move to Danita's room, who's going to be covered by Connor Keevy, and that was to talk about the career roadmap enhancements that we're making. So very excited to hear what's going on there. So Connor.
Yep, thanks. I'll just jump through this really quickly. I think that the key takeaways from our conversation was the infographic and the roadmap as it stands does a very good job providing like a simple format for students to digest. But it's important for students to understand that it's not meant to be prescriptive and that this is really just like to provide a catalyst for further learning about different career paths. So one thought we had was making sure that the ending landing page not only illustrates, the alternative paths that I think we're trying to build out, but also derivatives of each end result. So for example, compliance can have a lot of different end use cases, whether it's different parts of compliance within a bank or within accounting or other end jobs. And then lastly, the key takeaway, I think, was making sure that the end landing page acts as a catalyst for more learning and development. So maybe this is some type of output of alumni that are open to networking who used to have this job or currently work in the job, and to help kind of facilitate initial networking calls to continue to learn about opportunities. Again, more helping to facilitate a deeper understanding rather than being prescriptive on a job.
Great. Thank you so much, Connor and Danita, for running that room. That's fantastic. I have the last room, so I'll kind of wrap us up here, that we were talking about special topics. And that was a big focus of the future of the Boehly Center is now that, as Danita shared, it's a requirement for our students. So we kind of started with brainstorming and seeing kind of all possible ideas and comparing what old possible ideas have ever been mentioned to us as well. So now we just have one massive running list of ideas, but then we took the second half of the meeting to prioritize those so we could see really what the interests were. So I'll kind of run through what the new ideas were. And those was fintech and crypto. And I will share on the backside, that was the number one. So getting a real focus on fintech and crypto, Bitcoin, things of that nature. We talked about entrepreneurship. So Julie Agnew had actually launched the entrepreneurship and startup funding course. So we're kind of hit that button, which is great. Investing in the future. So we talk a lot about what's happening now with stocks and hedge funds, but kind of how do we grow on capital and markets and growth equity. We talked about control investing, commercial real estate. The second big hitter was ESG Finance. So we're actually really excited to announce that's a new podcast that's about to get announced too and come out, but it's great to hear that aligns. So ESG then led into a very interesting discussion on the ethics component and maybe tying in a philosophy professor and talking about how companies are kind of launching under the ESG brand, but actually aren't either real companies or aren't actually doing right things. Which led to financial crime and kind of anti-financial crime and money laundering and kind of going through all the don't do's, what not to do, which was a big hitter. So the history of financial crimes was kind of the third thing that was in the priority list. Life sciences and healthcare was talked about. And then kind of the fourth topic that was a big hitter was diligence and due diligence and kind of the buy side holistically. So trying to kind of talk through that more broadly. We lightly then talked about sports and esports. We also lightly talked about business writing and equity market and portfolio management and retirements and endowments as well. So those were kind of the big four, though, was the diligence, the ESG, the history of financial crimes, and crypto. So with that, that kind of wraps up our formal programming, and I'm going to turn it over to our incredible leader of the Mason School, Dean Larry Boehly, for closing remarks.
Thanks, Morgan, and thanks to everyone for joining this afternoon. I was at a conflict with the provost and executive team meeting, but was able to come in and hear the summary. Sound like some very, very helpful and useful discussions. Thank you for that. I also went carefully through the slides and materials for what you covered earlier, and the RSVP list, a very impressive group. Thank you for joining today, and thank you for everything you do to help fulfill the mission and success of the Boehly Center for Excellence in Finance. And thank you also, you are living our mission of distinguishing yourselves by living lives of principled achievement. And we are so very, very proud of you. Morgan and her team will regroup over the next week, put together notes and follow up. But I encourage you also, if additional ideas, and I know they do as well, if additional ideas and suggestions come to you, please reach out to the team or reach out to me. We will make sure that they get cataloged and put forward as well. And then just finally, a personal note, we are so looking forward to being back in Miller Hall. I've been putting on my suit, coming into my office every day for eight or 10 months now. And I have for a long time been almost alone in doing that. It is not an entire ghost town, but it is a bit sparse in Miller Hall. The light just went out. And, you know, we are gold LEED certified, so I have to wave my arm every now and again to turn my light on. But and we are also now maskless at William & Mary if vaccinated. That was a decision. I think I was up in Philadelphia over the last couple of days visiting with Alan Miller by coincidence, but I think that was an announcement that came out the day before yesterday that we are maskless if vaccinated. I've also told everyone we're planning to be back in Miller Hall on August 16th. I mean, I heard some discussion about all of the virtual and all of those sort of things. I mean, we're more like a retail store than a professional service firm. And when our customers are here, we need to be here. It's part of our culture. We will do some studying and thinking about additional flexibility. Might be able to overlay on things, but probably not by August 16th. So we're looking forward to having everybody back and ready to go. Plan to come and visit us over the course of the fall. We will have Dog to Wall. We will have our regular events and activities. I've heard some mention of important in-person activities, both here and elsewhere. We will plan to restore those. And thank you once again for your involvement, for your commitment, for your time, for your continued support, and for your example. You are a wonderful bridge for us. You are a bridge to the careers that our students aspire to have. They want to learn from you. They want to be engaged with you. We are eager to facilitate your engagement in every possible way, to speaking, sharing your wisdom and guidance, mentoring, and helping make sure that our students are truly career ready and connected to world-class opportunities, providing financial support, hosting our students, coming and visiting. We are a part of you and you are part of us. And we are also eager for your ideas. I was listening with particular interest in Morgan's summary. We're also interested for your ideas of what can be, what should be, what must be next for the Boehly Center for Excellence in Finance. We stay close to our Officers Council and look forward to your continuing to stay close to us. As I mentioned, you are a bridge. You are a bridge for us in so many, many ways. So please continue to be that asset and resource for us. We look forward to seeing you much less virtually than over the past 15 months. And please come and see us again. And in the interim, I want to thank you, encourage you to take care, and wish you Godspeed in everything you do. Thank you very much.